Okay, I wanted to follow up a little bit in our overview discussion from week one on social science research methods. It's really embedded in the nature of this course, and for many of you, this might be a little bit new, or might be a little bit of review. So I thought it'd be helpful to spend a few moments on that now, especially as it relates to literature review. If we look at the basics of social science research, we see these five pieces. We start off with the research question, the research topic, if you will, that leads to a research question. So the research topic might be that of exercise and health. The research question might be, does running 1/2 hour 3 times a week lead to better cardiovascular health? The research hypothesis might be, exercising 3 times a week for half an hour increases cardiovascular health. And we answer that research question or we test that research hypothesis. When we get to literature review, what we do is take the topic, the question, the hypothesis. We go out to all the published material that we can find and see what we can learn from what has been published before, what has been written about this topic or question. We also want to look particularly at more empirical based information. In other words, not just pop magazine articles, but more published research studies. We want to review the literature that's been published on that to also understand how we can connect the dots on the theoretical foundations that relate to our topic. We can look at the methodology, we can look at the instrumentation. All these relate to literature review. Methodology relates to how are we going to collect our data, what instrument are we going to use, how are we going to analyze that, what are we going to do with the data in collecting it and analyzing it. Fourth is the actual analysis of the results. We look at the data and see what the numbers and the analysis of the data tell us. And lastly, we look at the discussions and conclusions based on the analysis of that data. Okay, more specifically related to literature review, we said before, we review published materials. This could be material in printed form, in periodicals, journals, books. It could be on the web, as far as reports that might be found through the internet. We want to again look for the key theoretical foundations. In other words, what theories are foundational to the topic that we're studying. Lastly, we might survey the key terms and instruments. In other words, how do existing studies frame out the terminology? When they talk about evangelism and baptisms, what does that mean? When they talk about cardiovascular health, how do they measure that? So on and so forth. Let's use an example of a lit review related to losing weight. First of all, we go out and find books, periodicals, and web sources that talk about studies related to losing weight. Then what we would do is take those studies and try to construct the theoretical dots, the theoretical constructs, if you will, that help us frame out an understanding of these. So when it comes to losing weight, it could be related to a traditional theoretical model that says that calories in and calories out determine weight gain and weight loss. We could look at other theoretical frameworks that highlight specialized diets, such as low-carb diets, or specialized workouts related to such topics as high-intensity intervals. All these theoretical foundations help us understand the background, the issues, the topics, the theories related to the practical topic at hand. Now, when you look at the challenges of literature review, sometimes just finding published material. It's readily available within the time frame that you have to understand that. It can also be related to the practical issues and how you connect theoretical foundations. Some practical issues have very well-developed theoretical foundations. Some of those are very thin and unproven. That can make it more difficult. At the end of the day, we want you to do your best. We want you to show that you've done due diligence in finding out the material related to your topic and the theoretical foundations related to your topic. But for some of these, you might find these more difficult than others.